You lie down. The weight of the day slowly begins to lift. You let the mattress hold you the pillow, cradle your head, and the air still and soft around you begin to slow your thoughts. You don't have to do anything now. You don't have to think or act or decide. Just let go. Let your hands rest. Let your shoulders settle. Breathe in gently and breathe out even softer. The world around you can wait. Emails, calls, noise, questions, they have faded. There is only this moment now. You feel your chest rise again and fall again, each breath slower than the one before. You imagine a candle in the dark. Its light is small, steady, flickering softly like a heartbeat. You watch it with your mind's eye. It does not rush. It simply glows. And now the air shifts. You feel stone underfoot. The air is colder, still calm but now touched with damp. It smells like old wood, like wax, and faintly like herbs. You are standing at the threshold of a stone building older than memory. It is nighttime, but not the loud kind. This is the deep night where every sound is muffled, and even time itself seems unsure whether to keep moving. This is a place where no one speaks loudly, a place where the bells ring but never in a hurry, where windows are narrow and made of thick glass, where floors echo when you walk, but only if you walk with force. But you don't. You walk slowly, because here no one rushes. You are entering an abbey, a medieval convent tucked far from towns and roads. High stone walls keep the wind out and let only the quiet in. Inside, a single candle lights your path. It is held in a wrought iron sconce. The flame bends slightly when you pass, but it does not go out. The stones beneath your feet are smooth, worn by centuries of barefoot steps. Each step you take is silent. Even your breath now seems to match the rhythm of this place, slower, deeper, more still. You pass a wooden door. The surface is scarred but strong. Beyond it, someone is asleep. Perhaps a sister in brown robes, hands folded, her breath slow like yours. You do not disturb her. You are not a stranger here. Somehow this place already knows you. It does not ask for your name or your past, only that you listen. You walk further. The corridor is dim but gentle. A small stained glass window lets in moonlight. The colors on the stone floor shimmer faintly, deep blue-green, soft amber. You stop just for a moment, not because you are tired, but because this place invites stillness. And in that stillness, something shifts again. You are no longer yourself in the present. You are becoming someone else, someone who has always lived here. A girl, a young woman, a sister of this abbey. She has woken here many times before. She has walked this same corridor, felt this same smooth stone beneath her feet. She has heard the same silence you now hear. And in the morning she will wake again, and you will wake with her. But not yet. Now you rest in the space between days, in the fold of night that belongs to no one but the dreaming. Breathe again, slower now. The candle still flickers. The air still smells faintly of beeswax and lavender. The silence is still holding you. Nothing will follow you here. There are no demands, no decisions, only the next moment and the next breath. You are safe. You are held. You are welcome in this quiet world. Sleep comes slowly here, but that is its magic. Like rain that soaks the ground without rushing. Like roots that grow deep, not wide. Like stone that holds stories not in words but in stillness. And now you are ready. Tomorrow will begin soon. The bells will ring. The abbey will wake. But for now, you wait with the dark, and the dark waits with you. The bells do not shout. They never do. They ring gently. One soft tone, then a pause, then another, as if the stone itself were breathing. You are lying in your cell, your room. It is small but not cold. The walls are thick, the bed is narrow, the blanket heavy. You feel the weight of it across your chest, comforting, like being held without being touched. The air is still dim, not quite morning, not quite night. The sky outside your window is a deep gray blue like wet slate. You sit up slowly. There is no rush. The abbey never demands haste. You stretch your arms, your back, your fingers, and for a moment you simply breathe. There is no voice in your head reminding you of errands. No chime from a device. No flashing screen. Only the silence of the room. And the distant echo of the bell tower calling the sisters one by one. You step down from your bed. The floor is cool stone, but you are used to it. Your feet know these stones. They've known them since you first arrived years ago. You cross to the window. It is small, round, made of thick, rippled glass. You cannot see clearly through it, but you see light, soft and slow, spreading over the hills. You pull your robe over your shoulders. It smells faintly of lye soap and dried lavender. Your veil is folded neatly at the end of the bed. You place it on your head with both hands centering it as you always do. Left, then right, and smooth. Outside your cell, you hear movement, footsteps careful and slow. Someone coughs gently. Another door creaks open, then closes softly. You step into the corridor. The walls are painted in warm earth tones. The candle sconces have gone out, but the sunlight, pale and low, now reaches through the hallway. A golden stripe stretches along the flagstone floor. You follow it. To your left, the chapel. To your right, the cloister garden. But first, the water basin. You pause at the basin carved from cool gray limestone. The water is clear, cold still. You dip your fingers and touch your forehead, your chest, each shoulder, in silence. This is not ritual for display. It is not performance. It is pause, presence. You know each gesture by heart. But today, like every day, you mean it. You enter the chapel next. The air here is thick with stillness. It smells of waxwood and morning dust. Above the altar, colored glass filters the light, casting gentle blue and rose across the floor. You kneel at your place. You are not alone. Other sisters are already here, each in her own rhythm, each still waking. Some are whispering prayers. Some are silent. You close your eyes, and time drifts. A bird calls outside, soft and distant. The wind rustles ivy against stone. You count your breath. 1, 2, 3, stillness. The bell rings again. Not to hurry you, just to say it is time. You rise. The first task of the day is in the kitchen. The hearth must be rekindled. Bread must be warmed. Herbs steeped. But you walk there slowly, because here even movement can be prayer. You pass through a wooden archway, into a narrow hall. Past shelves of dried herbs, rosemary, sage, mint. Their smells cling to the air like quiet memory. You arrive in the kitchen. A small fire smolders in the hearth, waiting to be fed. You kneel gently and add wood from the basket. The fire accepts it gratefully. A sister offers you a smile, then returns to kneading dough. You nod once the way you always do. No words are needed. The morning passes not in hours, but in motion. Chopping, steeping, stirring, serving. One small task becomes another. Each one gentle. Each one necessary. You carry a tray to the elder's room. She is not well today. You set the tray down slowly. You help her sit up, tuck the blanket under her arms. She smiles. You place your hand over hers briefly. Then you return to the kitchen. The fire is burning brighter now. The sun is higher. And your thoughts are quieter than when you woke. You do not miss the world outside. You do not yearn for noise or speed or crowds. You have chosen this rhythm. You have chosen this silence. And the silence has chosen you. The morning light now fills the Abbey. It is not bright. It is not sharp. It spreads slowly like warm milk poured gently into cool water. Soft, pale, present. You move through the halls with your tasks in mind. Not a checklist, not pressure, but rhythm. A sequence you have followed for so many days now that it moves through you like breath. First, the chapel. You step back inside where the altar glows in the sunlight through rose-tinted glass. The candles from last night have burned low pools of wax in small iron holders. You gather them one by one. You carry them to the small table near the sacristy. With steady hands, you trim the wicks. Melt the bottoms just enough to hold the base. Set them back in place. You wipe the brass holders with a linen cloth slowly, circularly. You do not rush. There is no one behind you. There is no bell to beat. Only this. Only now. Next, the altar cloth. It must be smoothed. You run your hands along the edge, making sure the corners align. You tug gently. You pull, breathe, and pause. The linen is worn but clean. You admire the tiny embroidered crosses done by a sister long gone, her hands in this stitch, her prayer still lingering. From the chapel, you move to the side corridor where the holy water is kept. You refill the basin. The water is cold, clear, still. You carry it carefully in a brass pitcher. Not a single drop spills. You have learned how to walk slowly enough. After that, the small table in the vestibule. You dust it with your sleeve. Then place a tiny sprig of rosemary in the clay dish. It is for remembrance. You do not ask for whom, because you know, for all. Then the great hall. Not for meals, not yet, but for preparation. You sweep the floor gently. The broom is made of bundled reeds bound tightly with twine. It sings a soft sound against the stones as you push it forward. You pause often, to rest your hands, to look up at the high wooden beams, to listen. Silence again, not empty, but full. The sun filters through arched windows. Tiny particles of dust dance in the golden light. You stand in that light for a moment. Let it warm your face. You are not in a hurry to finish, because the finishing is not the point. You sweep, then rest, then sweep again. Later, you make your way to the laundry courtyard. The stone walls curve into a quiet square open to the sky. Water has already been drawn from the well. A sister hums softly as she scrubs a garment against a stone slab. You do not interrupt her. You sit beside her, take a tunic, begin washing it slowly. The lye soap lathers. The water cools your wrists. You press the fabric between your palms, rhythmic like waves. Not a chore, not a task, a meditation. You hang the linens on the rope lines stretched between two olive trees. The breeze lifts the fabric gently. A veil dances slightly before settling again. A bird lands on the low wall nearby. It watches you. You smile. It does not fly away. When the work is done, you walk through the herb corridor again. You stop to rearrange the baskets. Bay leaves, chamomile, dried lemon peel. Each has its own scent, its own place. You run your fingers across the rim of a wooden bowl, feeling the grain. You press a sprig of thyme between your fingers and lift it to your nose. The scent is sharp, alive. It reminds you you are here, still in the Abbey, still in the morning, still within silence. You return to your cell just briefly, to change into your noon robe, to wash your hands with water from the clay basin. You look into the small bronze mirror on the wall, not to admire, just to see. Your eyes look calm today, maybe calmer than yesterday. There are small creases near them now from sun and smiling, and time. You brush them gently with your thumb, then breathe. Outside you hear a distant bell. 3 chimes. It is nearly time for midday prayers. You smile softly, not because you must, but because you want to. The sun has risen just high enough to soften the chill in the air, but not high enough to make you sweat. The sky is pale, gentle, cloudless. You step into the cloister garden. Here the world speaks only in whispers. No wind, no footsteps. Just the rustle of leaves that never seem to rush. The path beneath your feet is worn but clean flat stones arranged in simple symmetry. You walk without looking down. Your body already knows the way. To your left, the rosemary hedge. To your right, a row of potted lavender. Straight ahead, thyme, mint, sage, and angelica growing in neat rows and beds. You move toward the basil first. Its leaves are deep green, soft under your fingers. You brush them gently once, twice, then cup your hands and breathe in. Fresh, sharp, it smells like peace. You kneel near the chamomile. Its small white flowers nod toward you as if in greeting. You remember planting them last spring, digging your fingers into cool soil, sowing the seeds in silence. Now they sway in the sunlight, a quiet reward. You pluck a few stems with care, not too many, just enough for today's steeping. You lay them in a small woven basket by your side. The stems shift softly like silk, like memory. Behind you, bees hum. They are not loud, not disruptive. They move from bloom to bloom, working slowly just like you. You admire their rhythm, their certainty, their gentleness. There is no fear in their flight, only purpose, only peace. Farther down the garden, near the old stone bench, you see the lemon balm. You have always liked this plant. Its smell reminds you of warm bread and sun-warmed skin. You pinch a leaf and hold it near your nose. Then just as slowly, you crush it between your fingers and let the scent rise. It is clean, bright, a memory of summer even in spring. You sit on the bench. The stone is warm from the sun. A bird calls from somewhere high in the Abbey wall. You look up, but you do not need to find it. It is enough to hear it. You breathe deeply. The garden answers. At the far end of the path, there is the apothecary table. It is sheltered beneath a wooden trellis where vines climb and stretch like prayers etched in green. You reach the table slowly. On its surface are drying trays, mortar, and pestle-folded cloth. You sit on the stool beside it. A small pile of mint leaves awaits you. You begin to strip them one by one, pulling each leaf from its stem, laying them out to dry. The work is simple. The work is quiet. And in its repetition, your mind loosens its grip. You forget the name of the day. You forget how old you are. You forget the shape of urgency. And what is left is peace. Now a breeze picks up. Just enough to make the veil over your shoulders flutter. Just enough to ripple the drying herbs across the table. You place a smooth river stone over the leaves so they don't blow away. You rest your hands in your lap, you close your eyes, and listen. Not for anything in particular, but because the silence here isn't empty. It holds memory, and prayer, and stillness. You hear footsteps behind you. Another sister. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. She sets a jar on the edge of the table, then turns and walks away. You glance at the jar. It's filled with dried rose petals, their color soft as dust, their scent faint but comforting. You smile. The bell rings far away. Its echo reaches you like a breath through stone, a reminder that noon is coming. You rise from the bench. You carry the basket of herbs, and as you walk back through the garden, you pause to look up once more. The sky is wide and light and kind. You whisper a word of thanks, not to anyone, not even out loud. Just thanks. Then you pass back through the cloister gate into shadow, into stillness, into the quiet rhythm of the day. The door creaks softly as you push it open. This is the scriptorium, the room where books are born, where parchment and ink carry thoughts across centuries, where silence is not absence, but reverence. You step inside. Light spills across the stone floor in colored pools, crimson, gold, sea glass green, filtered through narrow stained glass windows. Dust floats in the beams, dancing without sound, without purpose but still beautiful. You take your place, a long wooden desk carved with old initials polished smooth by elbows and quiet decades. Your tools are laid out: a sharpened goose quill, a jar of ink as dark as midnight, a small knife for trimming, a strip of soft cloth for wiping. The parchment lies in front of you. It is off-white with tiny ripples like water stilled by time. It smells faintly of salt and age. You dip your pen. The quill drinks the ink slowly, like the earth taking rain. You exhale and begin. The first stroke curves downward. The second crosses through it. The third lifts again. A single letter, then a word, then a breath. Each line is deliberate. You do not rush. The ink must dry before you continue. The letters must be even, balanced, honest. Your hand moves with steady patience. The scratch of the quill is the only sound. It is soft like the shuffle of leaves in wind. You pause every few lines to blot the page, gently, tenderly, as if the parchment were sleeping and you were not to wake it. Outside the window, you see the garden still basking in afternoon light. The lavender sways, the olive branches glint silver, and somewhere far off a dove calls. You smile, then return to the page. The Latin is familiar, not just the words, but the rhythm of them. The sentences form like prayers, like lullabies made of ink and silence. It lux in tenebris lucet, and the light shines in the darkness. You write it slowly, carefully, every letter a gift. The sister beside you clears her throat. She is older. Her hands are ink-stained, her posture precise. She does not speak. She only nods once. You nod in return. This is your shared language. Quiet respect, quiet presence. A small bird lands outside on the windowsill. It tilts its head, taps its beak on the stone, then flies away. Your eyes follow it, but your mind stays here. On the parchment, on the words, on the quiet. Midway through the page, your hand begins to ache, but not in pain, in memory. The memory of repetition, of meaning in motion, of the weight of thought poured out in lines. You rest your fingers on the desk. You flex them slowly. Then pick up the knife and trim the quill just a little. A new edge, a sharper point, a fresh breath. You dip again and continue. The candle on the table burns low. Its scent is faint beeswax and linen wick. You place a new one in the holder, strike the flint, shield the spark. The flame blooms gently, warm, steady. You return to your seat. Time is not measured here in hours, but in paragraphs, in prayers, in letters you've loved into form. The final line of the page draws near. You write it with care. Then you lay the quill aside and bow your head for a moment, not out of duty but gratitude. You have copied words older than your name, older than this abbey, older than even the stones beneath your feet. And now they live on this page, carried forward, held in ink, ready for the eyes of someone you may never meet. You rise from your chair, stretch your back, shake your fingers. The light has shifted. Evening is thinking about returning. You walk toward the window. The wind has picked up. A cloud passes over the sun, dimming the world just slightly. But in your chest you feel only lightness. You have done something slow today. Something quiet. And that is something holy. The bell rings again. 3 soft tones, not loud, not hurried. Just enough to remind you it is time. You set down your tools, wipe your fingers on a cloth, stretch your hands, then rise from your seat. You know the way. You do not need to think. Through the stone corridor, past the windows now glowing golden, you walk in step with the rhythm of the Abbey. You are not alone. Other sisters emerge from different rooms, all moving toward the same center, all in silence. There are no spoken greetings, only glances, nods, quiet acknowledgments. It is not cold, but everyone holds stillness like a shawl over their shoulders. You enter the chapel again. It is darker now. The sun has shifted. The stained glass light is warmer, deep red and amber across the floor. You kneel at your place. The wooden bench creaks softly beneath you. You know every sound it makes. Hands folded, head bowed, breath slowed. You do not rush to begin. There is no start here, only presence. The room is quiet. You can hear the sound of robes shifting as others settle. The soft exhale of breath beside you. The wooden beam above you creaking faintly. The groan of stone under heat. Everything moves even in stillness. You close your eyes and listen to the breath in your nose, to the air in your throat, to the silence that presses gently against your skin. The sister beside you begins to chant, very softly, a single note low steady. Then another joins her, and another. Not harmony, not music, but unity. You do not sing yet. You listen. The sound moves through the room like wind across water. Soft, even, endless. You begin to hum, not from your lips but from your chest. The vibration centers you. It draws you deeper into the earth like roots wrapping gently around stone. You forget where your fingers are. You forget the name of the prayer. You remember only the sound and the stillness between the sounds. The chant fades, and again the room returns to silence. The kind of silence that breathes with you, that waits with you. You open your eyes. Across the room, candles flicker in front of small wooden icons. The shadows they cast shift like prayer hands. Your gaze rests there but softly, not searching, just resting. One of the sisters stands slowly. She walks to the center of the chapel. She bows her head, then lifts her hands, palms open. She does not speak. She holds silence like water and pours it gently into the space between you all. You bow your head in return. Then she kneels again, and time keeps flowing. You bring your focus inward, to a memory, to a name, to someone you once knew, or maybe never met. You hold them gently in your thoughts, wrapped in warmth, in breath, in stillness. This is your offering. Not words, not promises, just presence. The bell rings once more. Its tone is lower now, heavier, like a full exhale. You feel your shoulders loosen, your breath deepens. You rise. All around you, the sisters do the same. Slowly, gracefully, no rush. No one speaks, no one hurries. You walk out through the chapel doors. The light greets you. The garden scent returns. The stone beneath your feet feels warm now. You head toward the refectory. The meal will be simple, warm broth barley bread, maybe a handful of grapes or apples from the cellar. But the meal is not the point. The quiet is. You take your seat in the long wooden hall. Everyone sits before bowls already set. You wait for the bell, then begin eating in silence. The bread is soft. The broth is earthy. Steam curls above the bowls like incense. No one speaks, but everyone shares this moment together. After the meal, you walk again. Not far, just a few steps into the cloister. You sit beneath the same ivy-covered archway where you sat once before. You breathe in the air, let it fill your chest, then release it slowly. Midday fades. The sun continues its slow descent. Shadows grow longer. Evening prepares its entrance. But for now, you sit and listen to nothing and everything. The bell has rung. The meal is finished. The sun is lower in the sky now, casting long golden shapes across the walls. You return to the scriptorium, not to copy this time, but to read. The room is warm. Sunlight still filters through stained glass blue gold soft rose. Your desk is waiting. You pull out the Psalter, a thick book bound in dark leather worn smooth at the corners. It creaks softly when you open it. The scent of old parchment rises dry clean with a hint of wax and ink. You run your fingers along the edge of the pages, not to skip, just to feel. Every page has been turned thousands of times by hands you will never know. Hands that have wept and prayed and hoped in silence. You begin to read Psalm 23. You know it well. The Lord is my shepherd. You breathe with the words, not reading aloud, not moving your lips, just letting them settle in your chest. Halfway down the page, something catches your eye. Not the words, not the ink, but the edge of something thin tucked just between the pages. It's not part of the book. You lift it gently. It is a piece of parchment smaller than your palm, folded once down the middle. It has no wax seal, no name. Your breath slows. Your fingers hesitate. Then you open it. The ink is faded, brown now, not black, written by hand, but not in Latin. It is in the language of your childhood. The script is simple, curved, kind. There are only a few lines. You read them once, then again. Though we are not allowed to speak, my thoughts find you still. I remember the garden in May. I remember your hand. I remember the violets. No name, no date. But something in your chest tightens. Not pain, not fear. Just the shape of something you don't quite understand. You read it a third time, and suddenly you can smell violets. You're not sure if it's real, or just a memory that bloomed from the words. You close the letter, fold it again carefully, and place it back between the pages. Exactly where you found it. Exactly as it was. You sit in stillness for a while, not searching for answers, not inventing a story, just letting the letter rest where it belongs. You look down at your hands. They are still. Your breath is soft. The world has not changed, but something within you feels wider. Like the silence has expanded. Like the Abbey has grown another hidden hallway, one that no one speaks of. But everyone has felt. You close the book, slide it back onto the shelf. And for the first time today, you feel the quiet shift not as routine, but as mystery. Not fear, not excitement, just a soft wonder. Outside, the shadows have grown longer. The sun now touches the tops of the cypress trees. You step out of the scriptorium. The cool air greets you. You walk toward the west cloister. The sky is changing from gold to blush to lavender gray. You look up and let your breath match the color of the evening. Slow, dim, gentle. You pass the chapel on your way. A candle flickers inside, though no one is there. The door is ajar. You pause, then step in, just for a moment. You sit in the back. The wood creaks. The flame dances. You say no words. You pray no prayer. You just think of the letter, of the hand that wrote it, of the violets. You picture them growing along a wall by a bench beside a footpath no longer walked. And then you let it go, like breath, like wind, like the final petal falling from a bloom that no one saw. You sit beneath the west cloister. Your hands rest in your lap. The stone beneath you is warm from the day, but the air has started to cool. The breeze carries a scent faint wood smoke from the nearby village and something sweeter you can't quite name. You close your eyes, and for the first time in many days your mind drifts backward. Not by force, not out of longing, but gently like a leaf carried on water. You remember a tree, tall, bent slightly by years of wind. Its branches grew in every direction, wild, disobedient, beautiful. You don't recall the name of the tree, only the way the light filtered through its leaves in late spring. Golden green, alive, buzzing softly with bees. There was a bench beneath it. You used to sit there, sometimes alone, sometimes with someone. You cannot see their face now. It fades when you try. But you remember the feeling, your shoulder just brushing theirs. The stillness between you, not awkward but full. You remember the road that passed the edge of your village, how it curved away behind the hills, how you wondered where it led, not in the sense of wanting to go, but just to know. You remember rain, warm summer rain, your sleeves soaked through, hair dripping into your eyes, laughter. You're not sure who laughed first. Maybe it was you. Maybe it was both of you. Maybe it was the sky itself. You open your eyes. The sun has dipped lower. The cypress trees cast long shadows now. But the memories linger like perfume that clings long after the person is gone. You rise from the bench. Your robe shifts softly with your movement. You walk slowly around the edge of the cloister garden, not for any task, not for any reason, just to walk, just to feel. You pass a patch of wildflowers that grow along the stone wall. They weren't planted. They simply appeared. You stop to look at them, yellow, blue, tiny white stars on thin green stems. You reach out and run a finger along one blossom. It bends under your touch, then springs back up again. Resilient, like memory. You think briefly of the road again, the one that curves behind the hills. You think of all the footsteps that never returned, all the stories that never made it to the Abbey walls, and all the words never spoken aloud. And yet here you are, still, breathing, present. You smile, because the outside world still exists, and so do you, but you are not outside it, nor trapped within. You are simply here. You return to your cell for a moment. The room is dim now. The walls reflect the lavender sky. You wash your hands in the basin, cool water, smooth motion. Then you sit on your bed, not to rest, not yet, just to pause. You open the small drawer beside the bed. Inside a rosary, a folded cloth, a pine cone, a stone from the river. Things you've kept, quiet treasures, no great value, except to memory. You take the stone in your hand. It fits in your palm like it always has, round, warm from your touch. You close your fingers around it and breathe. You do not cry. You do not ache. You simply remember. The way you might remember a dream that made you smile when you woke, even if the details have faded. The outside world does not pull you. It does not call you back. But neither do you shut it out. You carry it quietly, like a folded letter in your pocket, like a name only you remember, like sunlight that once touched your cheek and never quite left. The evening bell rings, a single chime. You rise and prepare for what comes next, because even in a life of silence there is still rhythm. Night has settled across the Abbey, not with drama, not with sudden darkness, but slowly, patiently, like a shawl drawn gently across the shoulders of the sky. You've lit your candle. Its flame dances low, small, warm. It casts a soft glow on the walls of your cell, golden light flickering against cool stone. You are not yet ready for sleep, not quite. So you walk slowly through the narrow hallway, past the herb shelves, past the chapel doors now closed. You pause outside a wooden door you've walked past many times. Tonight you stop. You knock once, softly. From inside a voice. Come in, child. You enter. She is sitting beside the hearth, the oldest sister in the Abbey. Her hands are folded in her lap, a blanket over her knees. Her candle glows beside her and the fire behind her crackles low, just enough to warm the room, not enough to disturb it. You bow slightly. She nods in return. You couldn't sleep, she says, not as a question, but as a knowing. You smile. Shake your head gently. She pats the chair beside her. You sit. The fire snaps once, then settles. She speaks again, her voice low and steady. Not a whisper, but close to it. There is a kind of night, she says, that speaks more clearly than the day ever could. You say nothing, you listen. She looks into the fire. Her eyes shimmer not from tears, but from time. You know, she begins, I once loved someone. The words surprise you. Not because of what they are, but because of how softly they land. Not a confession, not a revelation, just a memory being set down gently on the table between you. You remain still. We never spoke of it, she says. We were too careful, too faithful, too afraid maybe. She smiles, but it is not sad. I don't even remember her face anymore, she continues. Just the feeling. You nod barely. That she saw me, and that I saw her. The fire crackles again. You both listen. She speaks again, slower now. There are things we bury without digging. Things we wrap in silence and carry like stones in our pockets. Her hands twitch slightly as if remembering how they once held something they no longer do. But silence, she says, does not mean forgetting. You look at her. She meets your gaze. Some of the deepest prayers I've ever prayed, she says, were never spoken aloud. You sit together in the hush. The room feels smaller, softer, as if the stone itself is listening. She sighs gently. I've never told anyone that, she says. Not because I wasn't allowed, but because I never needed to. She places her hand over yours. Her skin is thin, warm, slightly trembling. You are faithful, she says, and gentle. But don't be afraid to feel. You nod. A pause. Then she chuckles just once, a quiet sound, more breath than laugh. Even the Abbey walls remember. They just do it without speaking. You sit a little longer. The fire fades. Your candle shortens. The silence returns, but it feels fuller now. Like it has weight. Like it has texture. You rise slowly. She nods again. No goodbye, just presence. You step into the hallway. The door clicks softly behind you. You walk back to your cell. Your robe whispers against your legs. Your candle flickers in your hand. When you reach your room, you set the candle down. You sit on your bed. You exhale. And you remember her words. Some of the deepest prayers I've ever prayed were never spoken aloud. You lie down. The blanket covers your shoulders. The candle glows one last moment. Then you pinch the wick between your fingers. Darkness. But not empty. Still, full, sacred. The halls are darker now. Not empty, never empty, but wrapped in the thick silence that comes only with night. You step out of your cell, a candle in your hand. Its flame is small, but enough. Enough to light a few feet ahead. Enough to push the darkness back just gently like a curtain drawn aside. Your sandals touch stone. The cold from the floor travels up your legs, but you don't mind. It keeps you present. The Abbey breathes at night. It exhales slowly through cracks in the windows, through open doorways, through old keyholes and stone seams. You listen to it as you walk. The creak of ancient wood, the soft hush of air, the muffled echo of your steps. Your task tonight is simple: to check the hallway candles, to trim the wicks, to relight those that have faded. You stop at the first sconce. The wax has melted low, pooling in ripples along the iron base. You trim the blackened tip. You tilt your candle toward the wick. The flame catches, flutters, holds. You move on. In the next hallway, the air is cooler. The ceiling arches high above you, barely visible in the dark. You pause beneath it. You always do. Not for any reason, just because it feels vast, like walking beneath the sky without leaving stone. You reach the alcove near the library. There's a bench built into the wall, curved and low. You sit for a moment. You let the candle rest beside you. Its glow plays across the stone wall. The texture dances, rough, then smooth, then rough again. You notice a small spider weaving its web in the corner. Its legs move slowly, methodically. You do not disturb it. This is its home too. You rise, continue. At each turn, you find another candle. Each one a small promise that the night is not empty, that the darkness is never complete. You relight, you trim, you breathe. At the west hallway, a narrow stained glass window rests just above eye level. You look up. Through the colored panes, the stars shine faintly. Blue, white, still. You can't hear them, but somehow you feel as if they're humming. A quiet music meant only for the night. Meant only for those who stop to listen. You move on. Past the old stairwell, past the door to the archives, until you reach the far end of the Abbey, where the air smells different. Earthier, cooler, deeper. The stone here holds more silence, as if it remembers more. You light the final candle. Its glow joins the rest. Not to fight the dark, but to live inside it. You pause one more time. Not because you must, but because the night has a weight to it now. A softness, a quiet that invites stillness. You sit on the windowsill and let the candlelight flicker across your hands. They look older in the light, but calm. Capable. You trace a line along your own palm as if reading something written there long ago. Then you rise. You return the way you came, passing each candle you lit. They greet you again, their flames tilting slightly as you pass, as if nodding. You arrive back at your cell. Open the wooden door. Step inside. The air here is familiar, cool, still scented with lavender from the sachet tucked beneath your pillow. You set the candle on the table, unlace your robe, fold it neatly. You sit on the edge of the bed, then lie back, pulling the blanket over your chest. Your body rests easily. Your breath begins to slow again. Outside, the Abbey hums its silent song of stone and firelight. You've done your part tonight, and now you let go. Midnight has come, but time does not speak it aloud. There is no bell, no chime. Only the sense, a shift in the weight of the air, a hush that deepens just a little more. You rise from your bed, quietly, not because you must, but because something calls to you softly like the turning of a page. You take your candle. The flame rises again, small and golden, your only companion. You walk the hallway not with purpose, but with permission. You reach the wooden door at the end of the north corridor. It is taller than the others, arched like a cathedral window with hinges that groan gently when you push it open. The library! You step inside. The scent meets you first. Old paper, beeswax, leather bindings, dust but the good kind, the kind that holds stories. The room is vast but not grand. It holds no opulence, only reverence. Tall shelves stretch up on either side, not so tall you cannot reach, but tall enough to remind you this place was not built for hurry. You walk slowly down the central aisle. Your candle throws light in arcs, catching gilt letters on spines, the curved loops of hand-drawn titles, the shimmer of gold leaf worn thin by centuries of touch. You pause by a reading table. Its surface is wide and bears a few open books left by another hand, not recently but not long ago. You do not close them. They look like they're sleeping, and you respect sleep. You run your fingers along a shelf, feel the raised grain of the wood, the bumps of carved numbers. Then a book calls to you, not with sound, but by being quiet in a way you recognize. You slide it free. The cover is brown leather, cracked gently at the spine. You open it. The pages sigh as they unfold. Text in Latin, margins wide, lines ruled by hand. A small drawing of a bird in the corner, just ink but so alive you feel it might lift off the page. You close the book slowly, cradle it in your arms, then find a seat at the far table. You sit. The cushion is thin, but your body welcomes the stillness. The book rests on the table. The candle flickers nearby. Its light shifts over the letters, making them seem to breathe. You do not read, not at first. You simply look, at the shape of the words, at the way they lean toward each other, at the space between the lines, so wide, so generous. You turn a page, then another, each one a silence, each one a whisper. You rest your elbows on the table, cup your chin in your hand, and let your mind wander. Not far, just around the room, over the shelves, under the beams, between the cracks in the stone where cold air sometimes creeps in like a curious question. You feel something settle, inside you, outside you. You're not sure which. You rise, place the book back on its shelf. It slips in like it remembers where it belongs. You walk to the back of the library. There is a narrow window, no glass, just stone cut into an arch open to the night. You lean your forehead against the frame. The outside air is cool. The stars blink above the trees. The moon sits low, tucked behind a cloud, but its glow still softens the darkness. You stay there for a while, saying nothing, thinking nothing, just listening to the world that sleeps and the silence that watches over it. At last you step back. Your candle has shortened. Its wax has pooled near your fingertips. You walk slowly from the library, close the door behind you with care. The latch clicks gently, like a secret sealed. Back in your room, you set the candle on the stone sill. You remove your sandals, fold your robe. You lie back down. The bed welcomes you. The blanket gathers around your body like quiet arms. The words from the book still echo softly in your thoughts. Though you did not read them aloud, they are there. Not sentences, not stories. Just the feeling that something once mattered here, and still does. The hallway is empty. You carry no candle this time, only yourself. The stones beneath your feet are cold again, but familiar. You've walked them in silence before. Tonight feels different. Not louder, not darker, just quieter. There is no bell, no summoning voice, no schedule. Just a sense, an inner leaning, like a breeze inside your chest pulling you gently in one direction. You turn the corner. A wooden door waits, low, unadorned, worn smooth around the handle from decades, maybe centuries of hands that reached for it in silence. You place your palm on the wood. It is cool, still, listening. You open it and step inside. The room is small, stone walls, a single bench, a small screen of carved wood separating one side from the other. But no one sits behind it tonight, no voice greets you, no question is asked. Just air, stillness, and the faint scent of cedar. You sit. The bench creaks. The sound disappears quickly into the thick silence. You lower your head, fold your hands, not because you must, but because it feels right. You do not speak. You do not need to. There is something about this room, its shape, its scent, its weight that invites honesty without sound. You breathe, slowly, the kind of breath that stretches deeper than lungs. The kind that reaches memories tucked so deep they don't even feel like yours anymore. You think of a time you didn't speak when you should have, of a kindness you didn't give, of a moment you rushed when waiting would have been softer. But you do not blame yourself. You do not carry shame. You simply offer it up as if untying a small bundle from your chest and placing it on the floor beside you. You let it sit there, unjudged, unheld. You lift your eyes to the screen. The wood is worn, carved in shapes that once had names. Leaves, stars, crosses maybe. You trace one of them with your eyes. Its curve is gentle, its meaning long faded, but its presence remains. And then you speak, but not with your voice, with your thoughts, with your breath, with your presence. You say, I am here. I have done what I have done. I have held on to what no longer serves me, and I am ready to set it down. You let those words echo inside you. No one responds, but you feel them received. Not erased, not explained, just heard. You stay a while longer. No clocks mark the time. Only the slowing of your pulse. Only the deepening of your breath. Only the soft weight lifting from the place between your ribs. Then quietly you rise. You bow your head one last time. You place your hand again on the wooden frame as you pass through the door. You do not close it quickly. You let it find its way shut, softly, with grace. The hallway is the same, but your body feels different, lighter, as though you left something behind, not lost, not discarded, but transformed. You walk back to your cell. Each step is slow, not tired but peaceful. You reach your door, open it, step inside. The candle on the sill has gone out, but there is light enough. Moonlight spills across the blanket. Your pillow waits. The air is cool and kind. You lie down, and for the first time tonight, you close your eyes without effort, without thoughts pulling at your sleeve. Just stillness. Sleep comes slowly tonight, not because something is wrong, but because something is stirring just beneath the stillness. You lie on your side. The blanket is warm. The pillow cradles your head. The moonlight pools across the floor in soft silver shapes. But your thoughts linger, not loud, not urgent, just quietly restless. Something under the surface. You sit up. No candle, no sound, just the hush of night pressing gently on the walls. You swing your feet over the side of the bed. The floor is cool as always. You let it ground you. For a reason you cannot explain, you reach under the bed. Not for a lost item, not for habit. Just a pull, a question. Your hand brushes the wooden frame. Your fingers trail along the smooth underside, then stop. There, something is carved. Very faint. You run your fingertips over it, slowly, carefully. A curve, a cross, a circle, an arc you cannot name. Not words, not letters. A symbol. You sit still. You let your hand rest on the shape. The wood is slightly worn where the carving is, as if another hand had found it before yours. Many times. Over years. Maybe decades. You feel no fear. Only wonder. You lie back down. Not to sleep just yet, but to think, softly, without pushing. Who carved it? A girl like you. A sister now long buried in the quiet cemetery behind the chapel. Was it a secret, a rebellion, a prayer in another language? Or was it simply a mark left behind, so someone else would one day find it and remember that a human heart once lived here? You trace it again with your mind. Let it float like an image behind your eyelids. That small arc, that half moon or open hand, that invitation. You begin to imagine. What if it meant sanctuary or forgiveness or memory? Or maybe it meant nothing. Maybe it was just a shape made by someone who needed to make a shape. And still you find comfort in it. In knowing that you are not the first to sleep in this bed, to feel restless in this hour, to search for meaning in the quietest corners. You turn onto your side. The moonlight now rests on the pillow beside you. You breathe, slow, deep, even. You are not alone. The Abbey surrounds you not as walls, but as breath, as history, as hands that have lit candles, planted herbs, swept these halls, as hearts that once loved and lost and let go, like yours. You picture the girl who made the symbol. You give her no name, no face, only a presence. A small light like your own candle moving quietly through these same corridors. You whisper into the night, not aloud, just within. I found it, and I remember you. That is enough. You feel the stillness deepen again. The restlessness releases. You lie flat, arms, relaxed, eyes heavy. The symbol remains where it has always been, unchanged, unnoticed until now. You smile. Not every discovery needs a meaning. Some are just quiet reminders that we are never truly the first nor the last. Only part of something that continues. Even in silence, even in sleep, the bell does not ring. But you know it is time. Something in the air has shifted. The kind of shift you can't see but feel in your breath and your bones, in the way the candle's flame pauses for just a second. You rise from your bed, silently. No one knocks. No one calls your name. You simply know it is the night of renewal. You step into the corridor. Other doors open quietly. Other feet pad softly over the stones. You walk together, not side by side, but near enough to feel each other's presence. A procession without words, without music, just rhythm. You carry no book, no candle, nothing in your hands. Because tonight your presence is enough. The chapel doors are open. Inside, only one flame burns, the sanctuary lamp flickering near the altar. It casts a warm circle of gold across the floor. Everything else remains in gentle shadow. You enter. One by one, the sisters follow. Each finds her place. Each kneels. Each folds her hands in silence. No one speaks, no one gestures. But the air is full, thick with intention, weightless with meaning. You lower your head and breathe. This is not a vow spoken aloud. There are no scripts, no pages to turn. Only the vow that has been living inside you since the first time you stepped across these stones. It has changed shape over the years. It has weathered doubt. It has grown quieter and stronger. And tonight you feel it return to the surface. Like a candle relit, like water rising. You do not look around, but you sense every sister beside you doing the same. Some have walked these halls for decades, some only months, but all breathe in the same rhythm now. All carry the same promise, unspoken, unchanged, to live gently, to listen more than speak, to carry the silence as offering. You lift your head. Across the chapel, another sister meets your eyes. She says nothing, but her gaze is clear, a kind of yes, a kind of I'm still here, a kind of vow without sound. You hold that moment. Let it settle in your chest, then return the look. Just once. The sanctuary lamp flickers, its flame bends then steadies. Someone exhales. The sound is soft, like the page of a book turning in another room. Another sister bows her head. Another rests her hands flat against the wood. You do the same, not as mimicry, but as resonance. The vow is not in what you say. It is in what you choose to remain, to continue, to be still even when the world invites noise. You kneel longer than usual tonight. Time stretches. There are no clocks in this room. Only the candle, only breath, only the silent agreement that this moment matters, even if no one outside this place ever knows it happened. Finally, one by one, the sisters rise. No one leads, no one signals, but you all move together like waves returning to shore. You follow, back down the hallway, back through the cool stone arches, back to your cell. You step inside, close the door gently behind you. The room has not changed, and yet it feels more full, as if it too witnessed the vow, as if the walls listened and whispered it back to the silence between the stones. You lie down. The blanket is still warm. The moonlight still rests across the floor. But your chest feels lighter now, or maybe deeper. You smile and let yourself sink, not just into the bed, but into the knowing that you have chosen this life again, quietly, completely. The candle has gone out, but you don't mind. You are already lying down, your body wrapped in warmth, your breath as soft as the folds of your blanket. There is no more to do, nothing left to say. You are safe here. The stone walls hold no secrets from you now. Only silence, only comfort. They are not cold tonight, not to you. They feel like something old and steady, something that has held many nights and many dreams. And now they hold yours. Outside, the wind hums low. Not loud, just enough. Just a thread of sound woven into the fabric of the dark. It moves through the trees, touches the Abbey stones, brushes the rooftop like a lullaby with no words. You hear it, or maybe you just feel it, and it soothes you. Your pillow welcomes your cheek. You sink deeper and deeper still. Thoughts come, but they pass like mist. They do not stay. They do not ask for answers. They simply drift like petals on a stream. You watch them go and smile just a little. There is nothing to fear tonight. The vows have been renewed. The chapel still glows. The books are resting. The herbs are hung. The sisters are safe. You are safe. Breathe. Let each inhale fill your chest with stillness. Let each exhale carry the weight of the day away. There is no rush, no noise, no edges here. Only quiet, only softness, only now. You may sleep. You are allowed to sleep. You do not need permission. You do not need to wait. Sleep is already arriving, like the hush after a final page is turned. Like the dimming of a lamp. Like the closing of a door that does not latch but simply rests shut. Gently, completely. Let your hands relax. Let your toes go still. Let your shoulders soften. Even your eyelids feel like petals now. Closed, calm, warm. If dreams come, they will come gently. They will arrive through the cracks in the stone, through the soft breath of the chapel candles, through the shape of that small symbol beneath your bed. They will be dreams of light steps on stone, of quiet pages turning, of the smell of lavender and wood, of soft robes and older hands and the stillness between the bells. They will be good dreams, safe dreams, dreams that understand silence, that do not rush you, that stay nearby but never startle. Let go. There is no story left to tell tonight, no name to remember, no task undone. Only you, and the breath you carry, and the peace you have chosen. The Abbey will hold you, the stone, the candle wax, the worn wood. They know how. They have done it for others. They do it now for you. You are not the first to feel this quiet, and you will not be the last, but tonight it is yours. Sleep now. Let yourself fall, not down, but inward, into a place where nothing is expected, where no one asks, where even time sits with folded hands and simply waits for morning. Sleep, you are safe.